But I'll tell you which religion did have a committee destroy all Quran copies and standardize. I'm sorry, I gave it away. All copies and standardize the copy that he felt should be original. Islam. That's his tradition.
Only one Quran, brother.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. It's his tradition. Sahih Bukhari, volume 6, number 509. Sahih Bukhari, volume 6, number 510. It's his tradition that says that there were Qurans that were being circulated by companions of Muhammad that were so contradictory that it almost led to a civil war during the reign of Uthman. So Uthman ordered those copies to be destroyed, and he took a copy made by Zayd ibn Thabit, who became a Muslim later on in Medina. Zayd was what they call an Ansari, meaning he only came to Islam after Muhammad migrated to Medina. So he wasn't there from the beginning. And he was told by Abu Bakr to try to gather the Quran in one volume, which he did in the reign of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr died. That copy remained in the possession of Umar, the second caliph. He died. And that copy went into possession of Umar's daughter, Hafsa bint Umar, who was Muhammad's widow. Then Uthman asked her to give her copy and asked Zayd and a committee of 3 to make fresh copies from that copy. And then he ordered all the other Qurans to be collected and destroyed because they were so different and contradictory. The Muslims started accusing one another of corrupting the Quran. So it is his religion that had one man decide to destroy all these Qurans that were copied by companions of Muhammad who learned the Quran directly from Muhammad, but they couldn't even get down what Muhammad actually told them because they produced copies that were so contradictory that led other Muslims to accuse the other Muslims of corrupting the Quran. So he had to destroy them and sterilize one copy that he deemed to be authentic. But then it gets worse for him. From that one Quran arose dozens of different Arabic versions, so that about over 200 years later, it was decided that 7 of those different Arabic versions called qira'at would be standardized, and each version was transmitted through 2 different means, riwayat, for a total of 14 varying Quranic Arabic versions of Uthman's Quran, and then 3 others were added for a total of 17. You now have 17 various and at times contradictory Arabic versions of the Uthmanic Quran still in circulation, the most popular of which is the Hafs reading. And according to Muslim sources, Hafs was known as a liar who stole books. And this is the most popular Quranic reading based on a liar, according to Muslim tradition, called the Kadhab. And this guy lives in a glass house and he wants us thrown stone at our house.
And there was one also about 114 chapters, 117.
Well, that comes from Muhammad's companions.
That's unreal.
Let me talk about that one real quickly. Muhammad said, learn the Quran from 4 men. Abdullah ibn Masud, Ubay bin Ka'b were 2 of the 4. And then in Bukhari and Muslim, it says he started with Abdullah ibn Masud first. Now, Abdullah ibn Masud was a Muslim during the time of Mecca. And when Abdullah ibn Masud was told to give up his Quran, he goes, I won't do it. I'm not going to give up my Quran for Zayd, because when I was a Muslim, Zayd was a little baby. And I memorized directly from Muhammad over 70 surahs. Why should I give up my Quran for him when he came later? But Uthman insisted. In fact, there's a story that says that when Abdullah ibn Masud entered the mosque where Uthman was, Uthman made fun of him. Abdullah ibn Masud responded, and Uthman caused a riot where he got beat. Abdullah ibn Masud got beat and got his bones broken, ribs broken, and he died from the injury over the issue of Abdullah ibn Masud refusing to give up the Quran. Now, why is that important? Because Muhammad didn't say take the Quran from Zayd. He said take it from Abdullah bin Masud, Ubay bin Ka'b. Yet these 2 men, when they wrote down the Quran from what they learned from Muhammad, couldn't agree on the exact wording of verses, because Ubay bin Ka'b had certain verses that read differently from Abdullah bin Masud, and Abdullah bin Masud had verses that Ubay bin Ka'b didn't have, and vice versa. And Abdullah bin Masud only had 111 chapters that he said were revealed. Ubay bin Ka'b had 116 chapters, 2 extra, that he said was revealed. Uthman kept it to 114. And there were verses found in Abdullah bin Masud's Quran and Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran, no longer found today in Uthman's Quran, the Quran that he had Zayd produce with the help of 3 others. And this is all in the Muslim sources. I didn't make it up.
And the verse of stoning and breastfeeding adults underneath.
Umar said, he said that had it not been for the people to accuse him of adding to the Kitab of Allah, he would have added the verse of stoning, because Allah sent down the verse as part of the Kitab, he says, and this is in Bukhari and Muslim, stoning, and Muhammad stoned, and he stoned, but was no longer found in the Quran of Zayd, as commissioned by Uthman, and Umar wanted it in there, right? He wanted the verse in there, but he was afraid that people would accuse him of tampering with the Quran, so he left it out. This is Islam for you, buddy.
Unreal.